We're here.
Make sure I'm not all reclined.
Yeah. We're here with the man himself.
Yeah, man.
We're here with Willie Monroe Jr. You got a big fight.
Yeah.
How'd this happen?
Man, freaking suicide, or Tite, or Kurtzide, whatever his name is, man. He did some BS and, you know, got caught a RICO charge. And, you know, thanks to Paco from the WBO, like, you know, he granted me the shot, you know.
You've had a lot of ups and downs in your career.
Right.
This might be the biggest up since the Boxino.
Right.
How did you handle this as a person? I'm going to kind of talk for a second, but like, you're a guy that has never had it the easy way. You've always had it the hard way.
I just do like I do everything else. I take it as it comes. You know, I'm prepared. You know, I stay in the gym for a whole, it's about to be 1 day shy of a year when I fight. And, you know, I live in the gym, man. I'm very serious about my craft. I've learned a lot, you know, lately about a lot of mistakes I've made, you know, like as a fighter, training and everything. I'm learning a lot more about my body, thanks to, you know, Vic Conti and Snack and the Snack facilities out here in, you know, San Jose, man. I'm just...
San Carlos?
San Carlos?
Yeah, it's not San Jose, but I mean, that's close.
I mean, San Carlos, San Jose, I mean...
You're from New York?
And I mean, we're freaking 10 minutes away from the San Francisco airport, so I don't know where people are like, where are you? I'm like, I don't know. Because I told they were like, you're not in San Francisco right now. We're like 10 minutes from San Francisco airport, so I don't know.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's like everything's going fast. So talk me through what this last week has been for you. Like, how many places have you been, and what was the schedule like for this press conference?
Oh, it's been absolutely amazing. I got to go to London, third time in my life going to London. I got to see some things, and you know, we did the press conference and the face-off with Billy Joe Saunders. You know, he ran his mouth a lot like he usually does, but he was a little smarter this time. He didn't get all loud and super boisterous the way he does with other fighters, because he understands who he's in there with. He ain't stupid. You know, he know I ain't that mentally stable for him to be getting all crazy like that. So I mean, he kept it modest, you know, but he threw some shots. But I mean, come September 16th, I'm gonna have to make him eat those words. But it was cool. I mean, went out to London for a day and a half, and then left London, and I left New York and went to London. Then I left London and came all the way here to California. So I've been over like 5 different time zones over the course of freaking 6 different days. So.
And like that's a lot, man. And you're on East Coast time, and then all of a sudden you're on West Coast time, then you're on Europe time. And
then I'm leaving, and I'm going back to East Coast time in a couple of days. So it's
just all over the place, man. We got to get on that press conference, man, because, you know, there's not a lot of unbiased boxing media out there, and they're gonna run with stuff that you say, and they don't. How do I say this? They're not always gonna worry about if you're a fighter, if you're putting your life on the line. They're not gonna think about the training.
Right.
They're just going to pass judgment. Right. And you said something, I'm not going to lie, it's controversial.
Right.
But we want to hear from you about the statement that you made that got a lot of heat.
Oh, about putting them in a coffin?
Yeah, like...
I mean, you know, so many people, it's funny, right? Before I tell you where I went with it, it's funny, you know, I tweet about, you know, I'll put a scripture up, I'll put something, you know, motivational up, you know, I'll put up something about, you know, some good news or something. We'll get 4 retweets, 8 likes. I'll put that up, 100 retweets, and everybody wants to talk about it. So, and everybody wants to make something bad of it. So if it was so bad, and I'm the bad person, why did you even touch it? If everybody wants to put on this act like, oh, I'm good, and you're bad for saying that, why would you even go retweet it and like it? You must like what I'm saying. You don't go retweet and talk about when I say God is good, or when I say, or if I say, well, like I said, I refer to Wayne Dyer a lot in my tweets, because Wayne Dyer is someone that, you know, I refer to a lot. You know what I mean? I read a lot of his books, I watch a lot of his videos, and I put a lot of his quotes up. Those that get 3 likes, 8 retweets. But then I put something up like that, and everybody goes haywire. and everybody retweets it and likes it and then complains about it. Like, people look to be offended. Like, they come on your social media, let me find something that I can talk about, because they have horrible lives, man. 90% of people on this freaking planet live horrible, miserable fucking lives. And these trolls, they tell on themselves. Like, look at their Twitter. These people tell on themselves all the time. When people come on my page, whether it's a promoter, whether it's a quote-unquote fan, a troll, another fighter, go. The people that like are always trolling people and talking negative, go to their tweets and just go down maybe 10, 15 tweets, and they'll tell on themselves. They'll tweet, man, my boss just fired me. Oh, my boss not giving me enough hours. Oh, my wife just left me. Oh, somebody just took my chick. You know, my kid's not listening. Like, they're miserable people. So they're not on social media to make anything good. They're on social media to find something to be offended about, to press that energy off. I don't let it bother me. So
you're saying like and I'm trying to understand what you're saying. So I'm not saying you're saying this, because you know people go in the comments and say that. Yeah. So we're not saying that. This clarifying statement. You're basically like saying like, I'm not happy with who I am, so I'm gonna make Willie Monroe Jr. feel bad.
Yeah.
Because right now I don't feel like I have my best time was in high school when I had freedom, and then I got locked down in a job that I don't necessarily like. And
they're miserable people. You have somebody like me, you know what I mean, and social media and the new age things, you know, allow people to, you know, be something that they're not. You know what I mean? Me, I'm everything that I am. You feel what I'm saying? Like I tell people all the time, like, a lot of these fighters, you know, I was talking to another fighter that's out here working with me, and, you know, and he was telling me, you know, how, and a couple fighters have told me this, how, you know, like, I got a signing bonus, you know what I mean, coming out, you know, I was making some okay money, I was getting paid a monthly stipend, you know what I mean, like, and I could just stay in the gym and focus on fighting. You know, I turned pro in 2008. I left the amateurs with 142 amateur fights, 128 wins, 14 losses, 72 knockouts.
And you know everybody.
I know everybody. That whole 08 team, I lost to Sean Porter in the semifinals at a 2008 Olympic qualifiers. You know, so I was up there. I was a top amateur. But when I turned pro, I didn't have what these guys have. I didn't have this big backing and someone to say, hey, here's 100K, here's 2,000 a month, you focus on boxing. You know, I was working 2 jobs, you know, training twice a day. And you would think this story would encourage people. But people have gotten it so easy for so long that when you see somebody that's gotten it so hard, in your mind, they're not supposed to make it because of how tough they've had it. And now that I'm at that upper echelon, I'm looked at as a guy that wasn't supposed to make it. So now that I'm here at that spot, they still want to make me feel like you're not worthy. Why do you think they say, oh, you don't have power, you don't knock guys out? Well, I didn't have a big promoter behind me saying, pick this guy, that guy, this guy, that guy, for him to fight so we can build this persona about him.
And just looking at you, I'm taking a guess, and I don't know, but you almost look like a junior middleweight to me, and a lot of your knockouts come from that weight class.
That's where all my knockouts were, at junior middleweight. But coming up, you know, as a professional fighter, I'm fighting a bunch of club shows, and I had to go into other guys' backyards and fight them. I had to take fights at 162 pounds. You know, I would come in 158. You know what I mean? I would eat breakfast the morning of the weigh-ins and still be 158 pounds. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm just like, I gotta fight. You know what I mean? I can't sit here and be a prima donna and say, oh, nah, I don't like this. Like, I've stepped on the scale and came in at 158 pounds. And the guy, the contract would be set at 160. And the guy coming at 63. And I'll be like, all right, just give me $100 per pound. We'll rechange the contract. We'll calibrate the weight or whatever. And I'll fight you at 163.
And you're saying day of the fight. That's day of the fight.
That's the day of the weigh-ins.
And you made the weight.
I made the weight.
And you're like, okay, I need the fight.
But I was so scared that the fight wasn't going to happen, and I did all of this training, that I said, look, just give me $100 per pound. That's your over. Okay, you're 3 pounds over the weight. Give me $300 and we can make this fight happen. I had to negotiate stuff like, you got guys today, if a guy is a pound over, I'm not fighting.
Pull out of the fight and they'll go,
I'm not fighting. I got guys that come in 3 and 4 pounds over, straight disrespect the scale, and I'll say, give me an extra $100
consistently?
per pound. Like consistently. But the thing is I knew having my amateur pedigree, being a left-handed fighter, you know, I wasn't going to get these opportunities. So every opportunity I've had to take less money. I've had to take fighting guys at super middleweight. you know, like I said, eating breakfast the morning of the weigh-ins so I could be a little heavier when I step on the scale. But people don't know this because they're so spoiled. They're so used to seeing guys get the big dollars and get the opportunities with the weight stuff. They don't see the hard stuff that guys. So you got a guy like me who's came through all of that crud and made it to the top level.
Fought on the Boxino as the biggest underdog.
On Boxino. When I stepped up to Boxino, you know, these people don't, because of the internet is good and bad. Because people don't go and say, let me find out what's up with this guy. They go, they look at Google, they look at BoxRec and say, this is my assessment. You don't know me. How can you make an assessment off of me? I can go on your Instagram. You could be on there with 10 chains and a Lamborghini in the back. I could think this dude's rich. That's not your stuff. But internet, you can live a life that's not yours. Me, I'm a real person. You feel what I'm saying? I don't try to live a life that's not mine. You know, like we were just talking, Boxino. When I fought in Boxino, I signed up for Boxino. I was the first person to sign a contract for Boxino.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know who the other I didn't know who the other 7 guys were. It was guys saying, oh, let me wait until I find out who's gonna be in it.
You just signed.
I just signed. I said, I don't care who the other 7 guys.
Is that the amateur in you? Is that like you had so many fights in the amateurs? You're like,
in the amateurs, I fought these big tournaments. I fought the Golden Gloves. I won 4 national titles. I fought the USA Men's. I fought world tournaments. When you fight these big tournaments, you don't get to pick and choose. Whoever's in that bracket, that's who you got to fight.
Harder than the pros, I tell people.
Yeah, because the pros you can pick and choose. In the amateurs you can't. And I still have that attitude. Whoever they line up next, that's who I'm fighting. And, you know, people, like, it was other managers calling my people like, yo, let's petition that our fighters don't fight each other so, you know, we can make sure we make it to the next round. I said, I don't give a fuck who I'm fighting. I don't. Line them up, put my name in a hat, draw 2, and keep that shit moving. And then we get to the politics of it. And, you know, Teddy Atlas tore me down every fight.
Well, he does that with most fighters. It seems like he has a fighter that he chooses, and then there's a fighter that he
likes the bangers. You know what I mean? He doesn't like the slick boxers and everything. You know, but I can understand that. You know, he's biased to whoever he likes. But he tore me down every fight. And it's sad because the people at home who don't know much about boxing, they listen to him. They count on these commentators to let them know what's going on in the fight. And the commentator could be dead wrong, and it makes another guy look bad. Didn't
he? Maybe I'm wrong, because I remember watching your fight live, and after I saw you fight, and you're probably gonna think, oh, you're lying, Lukey. I picked you to win just because I thought, man, this guy's gonna be problems for a lot of people. He can move in the ring, and I saw your amateur record, and I said, whoa, that's deadly combo. But if I'm remembering right, I forget who you fought in the final, but it was a banger guy.
Brandon Adams.
Brandon Adams. He's from California, but Southern California doesn't count. Northern California.
Don't let him hear you say that.
Yeah, I'm gonna hide from you, Brandon. If you see the video,
Brandon's actually a really good friend of mine.
He's a good dude,
really
man.
Really nice person, man. One of the few humble guys in boxing. You know what I mean? I call him, I text him, like we talk through social media. Like he's a very humble guy.
But getting back to this, if I remember right, I think Teddy had Brandon winning the fight. Or am I tripping? Or did he give him a lot of rounds? Because I remember, I thought you won kind of handily, but I remember the scorecard being oddly close.
I think 2 judges had me winning 9 out of the 10 rounds, and 1 judge had me winning 8 out of the 10 rounds.
Do you remember Teddy's card?
You know what? I have watched that fight. I don't remember Teddy's card, but Teddy. Well, I know when I fought Broner Roves, Teddy had me losing. And 2 judges had me winning 5 out of the 6. 1 judge had me winning 4 out of the 6. So I don't know what the hell Teddy was watching.
Maybe that's the fight. But I remember there was a fight where like
Broner Roves.
Yeah, there was
and I fought him in the tournament started in his backyard. So I'm always going to another man's backyard fighting him. You feel what I'm saying? And pulling out a win.
And that plays into right now, where you're at in your life. It goes full circle because you're going into another man's backyard. You're fighting at the Copper Box, right?
Copper Box, yeah.
The Copper Box has 8,000.
About 8,000 from what I heard.
From what people are saying.
Right.
And you're fighting a man in his backyard, a guy that a lot of people, now maybe I'm wrong here, but a lot of people have turned down this guy.
Some people have turned him down. He's turned down a lot of guys. What people don't realize, right, is when you get a contract for a fight, it's probably this thick as this phone. It's probably half as thick as this book. So
what's in that contract?
This is what I'm about to explain. People it's so many different things that play into why fighters will and won't take fights. And if a promoter, say we're fighting, say I'm champion and Lukey wants to fight Willie Monroe.
I'm good.
Say Lukey's like, yo, I know I can beat him, I'm gonna fight him, and you're confident, and they know you're a good fighter, and my promoter wants to protect me from you, they'll say, okay, Lukey, we'll let you fight Willie Monroe. His $50,000 and all of the stipulations in the contract. You may look at the contract like, man, I'm not willing to give this up to fight Willie Monroe. And they be like, well, you can take it or leave it. And then you walk away and say, man, I'm not taking that. Then they go on record and say, we offered him to fight. He didn't take it. So now the fans are like, oh, you cried and bitched for a fight. Now you a bitch because you didn't take it. You did all that. And it's like, nah. Like, let me tell you this. Do you know what intellectual property is? See, I'm an intelligent person.
Do you want me to answer this, or do you? Like,
I don't know. Do you know what intellectual?
I will define it for the viewer that's watching this video, and then you can elaborate, because I think you know more than me, because this literally pertains to your livelihood. But I believe intellectual property is anything that pertains to your name, likeness, and image from a fight, and the way it is reproduced, and the monetization and the value of it.
Perfect. So, remember when Broner was saying he wanted to fight Pacquiao? Yeah. And the fight fell through, and they were like, oh, Broner begged for the fight. Man, they were going to pay him $4 million, and he turned it down. Like, how come, man, he didn't really want to fight. That's the most money and fans think they know. The contract might say, hey, we'll pay you $4 million.
And that's it.
But, no, that's not it. That's what fans think. Here's $4 million to fight Pacquiao. The contract might say, okay, you can fight Pacquiao and we'll pay you $4 million. In the event that you beat Pacquiao, you will have to give us 50% to your intellectual property for the next 3 years, and we own rights to your next 3 fights. Now, owning rights to somebody's next 3 fights, okay, we know that's how the business goes.
Yeah, that's just securing an investment.
That's exactly.
That's gonna happen.
That's how promoters hang up. Why you think Don King was, you know, when Tyson won, and then when somebody beat Tyson, he was over here with the belts? Because if there wasn't a rematch clause, he had whoever the champion was.
That's and one.
That's how it goes.
The game.
So they could have said, I don't know this, but they could have said, hey, Adrian, we want 60% to your intellectual property for $4 million. Now, Adrian Broner, who's made millions before, may look at this and say, wait a minute. This ain't right, because, okay, I've made $2 million, $3 million in a fight. I haven't made $4 million, but my intellectual property outside of boxing brings me $1 million a year. Now, when we talk intellectual property, we talking T-shirts, branding, likeness. When Broner makes club appearances and get paid, this all ties in.
Vlogs.
This all exactly interview. This all ties in to intellectual property. So Broner may look at the contract and say, and I'm just using Broner's situation
because he's a very successful.
Yeah, he's a very successful and that's my man too. I freaking love Adrian, man. That's my dude. By the way, I think he's going to beat Mikey Garcia.
We'll touch on that in a bit. We'll touch on that in a bit.
That's my man, 100 grand. But he may have looked at the contract like, whoa, my intellectual property. Nah, they not getting that. Because Broner makes money showing up to clubs. Broner makes a lot of money off of merchandise. The AB hats, the AB t-shirts, the AB chains. Broner makes a lot of money off of those. So Broner may have said, if I make $1 million a year in my product and my intellectual property, like the AB series, the About Billions, that's intellectual property. Now they may tell him in the contract, it may say, in the event that you don't report the money that you make off your intellectual property, we have the right to sue you. So say Adrian Broner takes a fight with Pacquiao, beats him, makes the $4 million. Now this promotional company has 50% of his intellectual property, and Broner sells $60,000 in t-shirts and hats and doesn't give them $30,000, which is 50% of that.
And then they could sue him.
Now they come back and sue him for the $4 million that they just paid him.
Oh, yeah, I get exactly what you're saying.
So they're basically saying, we'll let you fight Pacquiao and let you borrow this $4 million, but we're gonna hook, line, and sinker you on this, and just in case you fuck up, we'll get our money back. Now, fighters have done that and said, fuck it, I'm going to just deal with it. And then down the road, it burns them. And the same fans that say you're stupid for not taking the fight are the same fans that say you're stupid for taking that deal. Whoa, wait a minute. It's a fuck you either way. So but the fans don't know this. They think that they just handed you a contract that says, here,
just
$4 million to fight Pacquiao.
Here's the money. So it sounds like you're from the music game. Sounds like the modern day 360 deal.
Absolutely.
Is that what it is? And for
boxing is mirror image to the music deal. Boxing is just like music.
But do you know what I'm talking about, the 360? Where they no longer do album sales. They do your tour and merchandise is part of your record deal now. Exactly. It's called the 360. It was kind of, the person that was accredited with it was Dame Dash with Currency. But it's like they're no longer going to be like, here's the money for the album. They're like, no, we want the merch.
Right.
We want the tours. We want all the stuff that you're doing. We get 360 out of that.
And what people don't realize is, say a promoter tells a fighter, we want some of his intellectual property. They don't give a crap about the intellectual property. That's a scapegoat to get inside and say we got reason to take more money from you after we've paid you a lot of money. But a fighter that knows that,
or has a lawyer
that sits down and says, nah, this isn't a good deal, and the fight doesn't happen, then the promoter goes online and says,
well, we offered the fight.
We offered him the fight. We offered him $4 million. He didn't want to take it. Now the fans are like, oh, he's a bitch. He's this. He didn't want to. That's the most money. Like, wait a minute. If that paper just said, here's $4 million to fight this guy, that would have been, but you didn't tell him about those other 30 pages that are in that contract that could have screwed him over. And I'm not saying the fans have to know this, but be smart.
Like, think about, basically what you're saying is, think that there's another side. There's not just, I'm scared to fight this guy and there was a lot of money offered. Think about what the other opinion was.
There's no way somebody's going to give up $4 million without a way to possibly get it back. Nobody's just going to up and give you $4 million without a way to get
unless
that
you're
or more
making them $50 million and they're just...
Oh yeah, they'll invest that, but like I said, they got to get it back.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So, and I used the whole, you know, Adrian Broner, you know, Pacquiao thing because, you know, when I was online, I just heard so many people talking, like, because I did an interview and they said, who do you think will win out of Broner and Pacquiao? I said, Broner. And people are like, oh, you're stupid, you're a bitch. Broner didn't even take the fight. And I'm like, you don't know the particulars of what was in that contract. The contract isn't just one page that says here's $4 million to fight. Them contracts are this thick. It's so many free and
legally binding.
And then
the
when
you sign,
exactly. But then if you don't sign, you're a bitch. And then when you do sign and get screwed down the road, you're stupid. You can't win for losing.
It's a great scenario to be in.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And like people do this all the time. Like I hear people talk all the time because everybody, if that had been me or he should have this. Everybody's the smartest person from their couch.
That's some real. That's some real Willie Monroe knowledge right there. That's
everybody. Like I can't begin to tell you, man.
Monday morning quarterback.
Exactly. I'm an intelligent person, man. And when I say I'm intelligent as far as just being a super intelligent person. I'm also intelligent education-wise. You feel what I'm saying? Like I'm one of the few boxers out here who has a college degree.
You got a master's, right? Or
no, I got a bachelor's.
But aren't you working on a master's?
I went and got my Dale Carnegie certificate, and I was gonna go back and get my master's, but I went to be a firefighter actually. So I passed the test to be a firefighter. I passed it with one of the highest scores in my city too.
Oh, congratulations! But yeah. I knew that you had done something in higher ed. Like I knew that you were a fighter that didn't just end with a bachelor's.
Yeah, I got my bachelor's in physical education, sports, and nutrition. Which I don't want to downplay education, but had I met Victor Conti and knew all of this stuff about this stuff before I went to college, I wouldn't have had to pay back all them damn school loans. Because all of the knowledge I'm getting while I'm out here, school taught me none of that.
It's a next level. This is a doctor.
When I first came out, I'm like, man, I got my degree. I got that. You know, and so I'm sitting here talking with Vic, and I'm giving him knowledge. He's like, wow, like you're up on your stuff. You know your stuff. But then he'll break something down for me, and I'm like, I did not know it worked like that. You feel what I'm saying? Like I did. You know, I'm taking this supplement, that supplement. I'm feeling good some days. I'm feeling bad some days. And like we're doing testing for this fight. So we have to give blood and blood and urine, which I'm absolutely open to. You know what I mean? Like they thought I was gonna say no, I don't want to. Let me get a backstory on that.
Okay, give me the backstory on that.
So they sent me the contract and said, this is the fight. the money, blah, blah, blah. Have my lawyer look over it. It's cool. It's a bout agreement. Signed it, faxed it back. Didn't hear nothing for about 3 days. I'm like, yo, did they get the contract? I know I faxed it. I get an email from my strategic partner, AC, and Artie Palulo and all of Banner is CC'd in it. There's going to be a new contract drawn up. They want to do VADA testing. So I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. First of all, to everybody else, I'm not a big puncher. I got pillow hands. I don't knock nobody out.
You run?
I'm a runner. You know, I'm boring. But y'all think I'm on steroids.
You fight outside of your weight class?
I fight outside of my weight class. But I'm on something. I'm from Rochester, New York, man. Let's keep it real. There's no steroid salesman on the curb like, yo, I got them roids for you. I got them roids. You know what I mean? Maybe some weed. You know, maybe some other drug, but not no steroids.
Not performance enhancing.
Not performance. There's no drug salesman in my city that have anything that would enhance my performance. I'm from the hood. You're not gonna find no steroids in the hood.
My favorite basketball team started in Rochester. Rochester Kings.
Oh yeah,
Rochester Royals.
A lot of people don't know that was way back.
I know my Sacramento Kings, man. I'm a Kings fan.
Oh, okay, yeah. They won an NBA championship too.
Yeah, shout out to Rochester Royals.
Shout out to Rochester, New York, man. The home of Kodak, Xerox, Bosch Malam, Ray-Bans, Wegmans. I love my city though.
I've never seen someone throw it up for Rochester.
Word, that's what, man. Throw your R's up, Rochester, man. But was that an R? Yeah, that's an R, sign language, right? That's an R, right? Throw your R's up.
So Billy Joe's he's doing this thing where he's like, you need to be drug tested, all that stuff, and you're just like, oh, cool.
They're trying to throw, it's like throwing shit on the wall. Something will stick one day.
Trying to get under your skin is what you're saying.
Yeah, I said, I'm cool with that. What they don't know, right, is that Vic Conti is on the board for VADA.
It's not a good look.
So, I would have to do VADA anyway. And I talked with Vic when I was out here last year, like right after the Golovkin fight. And I said, I want to sign up for year-round testing. Because a lot of these guys will be on something until a month before the fight. And then they do the test, they pass it, and they're still getting a I said, look, I want to be on year-round testing.
Just to show what kind of athlete
just to show that
I'm
clean.
Yeah, just to...
Y'all can come test me, and I ain't fought in a whole year.
You can check out Rochester.
You know what I mean?
Take a flight.
Exactly. Take a flight. Yo, come test me. I'll take you to Wegmans.
Go to Kodak. Check out Kodak.
We'll go to Kodak headquarters. We'll go to the Ray-Bans headquarters.
It'll be a great day.
It'll be a real great day. But, you know, they throw a lot of stuff out there, man, to try to... but it's showing me that they're scared. You know what I mean? Like, how can a guy... He's got all of these guys from his... It's different guys from this country. And I don't know if it's him. Because all of these Twitter handlers have no picture, have really no name, no followers. It's goose eggs, but they're tweeting me. You're getting ready to fight the real guy, mate. Like, come on, man. You're getting ready to fight. He's a real knockout puncher. Like, who the fuck is he knocked out?
Yeah, he had a tough last fight, too, when he did fight.
Against fucking Wolverine.
I don't even know who he fought. But
Wolverine.
He fought Wolverine.
The guy's name is Wolverine. And
the guy, are you joking with me?
No, his name, well, his fight name is Wolverine.
His name's Wolverine. And it was a split decision, or what was it?
It's like a majority or something like that. A lot of people thought the other kid won.
How would you rate the other kid?
Strong. If he'd have been more busy,
you could have beat him.
Or been like the kid was pretty much basic. He's like just a basic lefty. I never even heard of the kid. He showed up with 17 fights and gave him a freaking fight of a lifetime.
So you're looking at this guy, and he's doing a lot of bizarre antics. You kind of feel. Do you think that psychologically he's nervous? And when you saw him at the press conference, do you think that when he saw how big you are, pause, that might have played an issue?
Hey, he's very scared. It's actually comical to me. Like, when people do stuff on social media and all of this crazy stuff, it doesn't bother me. You gotta realize, man, I've always been a weird kid. I graduated from a performing arts school. I went to a performing arts school for vocal music and piano. My school was like, my school in Rochester was like Professor X school. It's just a bunch of weirdos. Like, we're very successful people. School of the Arts has produced a lot of successful people. I come from where I was teased a lot. I was talked about a lot. I just joke it off. How can you joke on somebody that jokes on themselves? You can't. I don't care about that. It doesn't get to me. It doesn't bother. I say, oh, he's gonna do this. He gotta show me that September 16th. I come from the school to show me better than you can tell me, because I'm gonna show you better than I can tell you. I'm not good at talking. I'm good at doing interviews. I'm not good at talking. Talking smack and getting back and forth with people.
I was going to interrupt you there. I was going to say, you just said I'm good at interviews, but I'm not good at talking.
I'm not good at talking smack. Okay, you know what I'm saying? I'm good with interviews, but like as far as like I'm the type of guy that I'll say something crazy and then I'll go home and think about everything I should have said. Dang, I should have said that. But I'm just not. I'm like my grandfather. You know what I mean? My grandfather was a real cool, smooth, didn't have much to say type of guy. But when he did speak and when he got ready to lay down what he laid down, everybody had to make room. And that's the type of man I was raised under. I don't, when have you ever seen me, think about it, when have you ever seen me in a press conference acting arrogant and loud and belligerent? Never.
I didn't even, people were hitting me up on my social media because they know I get along with you, right? And they'd be like, oh, Willie did some, and like I didn't even pay attention to it because like I just thought, oh, well, you've got a big fight, like, I'll watch a video here and there, but it's like the fight's getting going and you don't get fights that often. I'm gonna give you this. I'm black. Let's keep it dead funky with you. Now, I'm gonna touch on that. It's a sensitive situation, but I'm black. So they expect me to act a certain way. They expect me to act what they've already put in the minds of everybody, which is a quintessential black athlete. A stereotype. It's a stereotype. But when they see me, I talk with intelligence, charismatic, very articulate, and they're like, wait a minute. So then they mess with me. Let's see if we can get this guy to act out. So they can say, ah, there it is. He's acting like the N-word. There it is. We knew it would come out. But they can't get me to do it. So it makes them more mad. So they make up, it's like throwing shit on the wall. Let's keep throwing it on and something's gonna stick one day. That's how it is. You gotta think about it. Let's be real about it. Does race play a part? Race plays a huge part. Yeah. Floyd Mayweather came up with, what people don't realize, right? Floyd Mayweather turned pro in '96 after his Olympic run. Silver medal, right? Bronze medal. Was it bronze? Okay. He received. Yeah. He likes to say, "I received a bronze medal." Like which he should have won. You know, the decision wasn't as bad as the Roy Jones decision, but it was bad. Yeah. But when Floyd first came out, Floyd was boxing guys, moving and boxing and juking and jiving. And in interviews, Floyd would say, I'm just trying to be the best. You know, I feel like I'm one of the best. I'm just trying to be the best. You know, I want my dad to be happy. We had a dream. And people say, oh, you're this, oh, you're that, oh, you're fake, you're not. Then he won a world title, and he was world champion for 9, 10 years. And they still said, oh, you don't do this. You don't sell enough pay-per-views. You don't. Then Floyd started saying, all right, I'm the bad guy. Fuck your mother, fuck this person, I'll be the bad guy. Then they said, oh, this guy he's belligerent, he's loudmouth, oh, somebody needs to put this kid in this place. He just became the bad guy. Conor McGregor comes over here. His favorite word is fuck you, fuck this, who the fuck is this guy? Fuck. He wore a suit with pinstripes that said, fuck you. Well, I think there's also been some racially coded things that have been done. The whole monkey thing and dance for me, boy. He can do that. And it's a joke. And it's entertainment. Yeah, it's funny. But as soon as Floyd say 50,000 on the wrist, $1 million on the pinky, he not even cursing. You know, my tailor-made suit. I got 4 Bentleys. I ain't even talking about, you know, Miami's. Oh, he's arrogant. How could he talk about, they put a spin on it. How could he talk about all his riches when we got poor people out here? They put a spin on it to make him look, make it wrong. But Conor McGregor could come over here and say, oh, fuck this, fuck that, fuck dance for me, boy, oh, the monkeys and stuff. And we know the whole monkey thing with black people is racial. And it's entertainment. It's okay, he gets a pass. Are you a Rocky fan? Because like I like the Rocky movies. Do you remember in that movie, was there dancing monkeys? Well, this is what happened. There's a part in Rocky 3 after Rocky lost to Clubber Lang, because I love the Rocky series. Yeah. Apollo Creed came back and helped Rocky. He kept saying, you owe me a favor, you owe me a favor.
But he took Rocky from Philly and took him to California and basically taught him how to box the way most black fighters box, with rhythm, speed, dancing, moving, you know what I mean, juking and jiving, like Ali, like Sugar Ray Leonard, like Roy Jones.
Like another stereotype.
Like
though,
another
because,
stereotype.
Like there are black fighters that sit in the pocket and bang.
Yeah, there are.
But I mean, like that movie kind of dumbs down.
Yeah.
Stuff, but that's another.
So the guy asked Conor McGregor, who would win out of you in Rocky 3? Because Rocky 3 went from the banger to the boxer, the smooth boxer. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. So he says, "Oh, which one was Rocky 3? Oh, the ones with the dancing monkeys in the gym."
Well, I guess my question was like, was there dancing monkeys in the gym, or is that a racially coded statement?
That's a racially coded statement.
So there's no literal.
There was no monkeys in the movie.
So it's a horribly timed joke that is racially insensitive, meant kind of to be hatred, to belittle people.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he got away with it. It's passed off as entertainment.
And it's on the Jimmy Kimmel show.
Yeah. He can go that deep and it get passed off as entertainment. All Floyd said is, I work hard work, dedication, I got it. I got a $17 million house. I got 4 Bentleys. I got 3 Phantoms. I got a Wraith. I got Lamborghinis. I got one of the rarest cars in the world. I got 60,000 on the wrist, $1 million on the pinky, 10 million around the neck. And they say, oh, that's Eric, and they make it bad. He didn't go racial. He didn't go sexual. He didn't go in. He was just talking about what he's acquired, and it's considered negative. But this guy can come over here and go as deep as saying something racial, not once but twice, and it's entertainment. It's okay. It's
and
sad.
Basically do what Floyd does too. Like it's pretty obvious he watches Floyd.
He's a copycat.
Yeah, he's doing what Floyd did to a T.
He's a copycat. And what people don't realize is they've created the monster that they claim that Floyd Mayweather is. They created that. Because when Floyd first hit the scene as a professional fighter, he was like Sugar Ray Leonard.
Well,
very charismatic,
Jermaine Taylor. Like, to me, it felt like Jermaine Taylor, who's kind of a tragic story in boxing now, which I don't really want to get into because it's kind of sad and it makes me feel old.
One of my top favorite 5 middleweights of all time.
One of my favorites, man. But remember all those old promos of Jermaine Taylor, the good kid? And now you think of him now and it's like all people want to do is kind of slander him and
people
stuff like that.
People only identify with bad because it's a moment for them to be offended and make a big post. Make a big Twitter or make a meme. So
they take your worst moment and then they're gonna put a magnifying glass to that, but they won't look at you as a human in context.
Just like people say, "Oh, you quit against Golovkin. You're a quitter. That's unforgiving in this sport." I don't need y'all motherfuckers to forgive me. Like when I stand before God, at the end of the day, God's not gonna say you quit in the fight. You're going to hell. I don't care about who judges me out here. Only God can judge me. And half of these people that talk this smack are jealous because
fat.
There's very fat.
Talk about how fat. Do it with your hands.
It's crazy, right? Because you get people who quit their jobs because they don't like somebody at the job. You quit making money at your job because you don't like somebody at the job. You quit working because you had to get up early. You feel what I'm saying? You quit working because now you can't go to the club the way you want. You quit. Here I am under the lights with 19 professional fights, fighting one of the best pound for pound fighters on the map. Give him a great fight. I'm down twice in the second round, get back up and rally in rounds 3, 4, and 5. Then in round 6, I get clipped behind the head. I got up, I made the count, and I just say, yo, in my mind I said, I'm already down. Let's just call it and look for another day. You feel what I'm saying?
But that's good. Like, and maybe like
I'm an intelligent person. What does it say in just about a lot of religious books, especially the Bible? Pride comes before the fall. You feel what I'm saying? People's pride can kill them. You feel what I'm saying? I'm living here to fight another day. You can die in there. You feel what I'm saying? Now, people want to see me die against Golovkin
because they love.
But this is what kills me. The same fans that want to see me die are offended when I say I'm gonna kill a fighter.
That's like, I never thought about it like that, but that's pretty real. Like, people basically, like, something in your body told you, like, tonight is not going to be good for me if I keep going. Like, there's just something in you that you knew, like, you know your body better than anyone. You went to school for it. And you said, this is not going to go good if I keep going. So you pulled it. And then people wanted to make...
Let me tell you something about your mind. That moment was too big for my mind at that point. And everybody in their life, whether you're a boxer, whether you work at a corporate company, whether it's with your kids, whether it's with your family, everybody in their life have a one or more moment where your mind and your perception of things isn't strong enough for that moment. The difference between them and me is I'm not ashamed to do it in front of millions of people. You got people who quit stuff every day. You've been a quitter since day one, but nobody knows because you do it behind closed doors.
I quit every time I run track.
You feel what I'm saying? Like there's so many people. You got guys, and you get these guys, you know, like one guy came to me and he was like, well, I don't know much about boxing, but I play football. And I'm like, well, do you play football now? Nah, I played in high school, so why don't you play now? Oh, well, you know what things were, you quit. You gave up when it got hard. I can sit here and say you quit, and you could give me all kinds of excuses like, nah, I didn't quit. Man, my mom was this, and you know I had to step out and do this, and I couldn't fit. How come you couldn't balance all of that? And it's nah, that ain't right. But if I say, look, man, that night just wasn't a good night for me. That ain't no excuse. For me, it's, oh, that's no excuse, but you got all the excuses in the world. It's sad, man. And the people who come on my Twitter and come on my Instagram and talk about quitting are people who have quit millions of times in life, but now they see somebody that they can rag on so they don't feel so bad inside. You feel what I'm saying?
They're really smart people too. Like, I get the same people that kind of make fun of you, and they'll bring up, oh, you're race baiting. That's something that I get a lot. Like, oh, you're bringing it, and it's like, oh yeah, I am bringing up race in boxing because racism exists, and it actually exists in boxing too.
What people don't realize is if you say this is is racial or it's prejudice, people are like, oh no, man, that's not happening. No, it is, because racism is something that exists in the world. It's not racism exists in the world, but not in boxing. It doesn't happen.
Boxing is the great elixir.
Boxing is, nah, they don't do that. But get the fuck out of here. And it's apparent, and people just sweep it under the rug and look past it. Yeah,
it's like that Al Gore movie, The Inconvenient Truth. It's inconvenient for a lot of people that don't have to deal with it, so they're like, well, I actually get entertainment from this.
I touch on it. I don't give a care who, because it's facts. Truth hurts.
And I think that's why you're a polarizing figure now. Like, because you touch on issues a lot of people don't want to touch on. You either have people that are gonna like kind of go to your Twitter to instigate with you, or you're gonna have people that I can guess are inspired by you.
Bruh, after I lost, when I was on my way to fight Golovkin, I put a video up after I signed a contract and they announced it. I put a video on Instagram. I said, what you heard is true. I am getting ready to fight Golovkin. God is good. I'm blessed. I said, but I won't be on social media for about 4 or 5 days because I'm doing, I was doing a retreat at my church. And I shut my phone down, shut everything down, did my retreat, came back. When I came back, yeah, bitch, you better go to a retreat. You better go talk to God. God can't save you when you fight the white God. You're getting ready to fight the white. They just kept... So those, and then when I say, well, wow, if boxing isn't racist, or there isn't racial people in boxing,
why is white in?
Why are they saying this to me? You know what they say to me? Oh, don't. People are just don't play into that. People, I'm not gonna play into it, but you can't look at this and say that it's not there.
Yeah, like you can't ignore that there's a racial component.
You can't sit here and say that there's not a racial underline there.
Especially if like you bring a racial element, like a color thing that is the basis of racism.
It's just like the whole Black Lives Matter thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm on the fence with Black Lives Matter. Because the Black Lives Matter thing, I agree with it under the circumstances that all of the kids that were being killed by Caucasian cops were black people. Were black kids. That's just a fact.
Well, I'm interested to hear your critique, because I have a critique too.
On the Black Lives Matter thing?
Yeah.
This is my critique on Black Lives Matter. I'm on the fence because I do believe Black Lives Matter. I believe lives matter, period. The reason why I say I'm on the fence with it is because Black Lives Matter is very true. This is, it's not saying that nobody else lives, no other lives matter. It just means our lives matter also. What's wrong with it? We're not saying it matters more. We're not saying it matters less. We're not saying we're the best, it should matter. We're just saying we matter. And there's a problem. And so the reason why I agree with it, the reason why I'm on the fence with it is because Black lives do matter. And when you're looking at, it's crazy, right? When that bombing happened in Paris, right?
Yeah.
It was this big thing. Put the
Paris symbol.
Put the French or the Paris flag over your Facebook. Pray for Paris. Pray because of the terrorism thing. Everybody did
solidarity.
When the thing happened with the gay rights movement, which I put the gay rights flag over my thing because I'm pro happy. You know, I don't judge people by their race, orientation or sexual orientation because I'm pro happy. If you're happy, that's what I like to see. I have friends that are gay. You know what I mean? I have a very good friend of mine, very close to me, who came out of the closet, and he was only comfortable coming out of the closet to me because we were close. And he was scared to come out of the closet. He said, because I just don't know how people are going to accept me. I told him, I said, look, if anybody fuck with you, you tell them to come to me.
Yeah, you're not a good dude to...
I'll go beat... listen, forget registered hands. If somebody... You my brother. Feel what I'm saying? Like, I love you. I don't care what your sexual orientation is. If somebody messes with you or says anything to you, you've been my friend since we was 8 years old. So if somebody comes against you, call me. I'll show you what I can do with them. I'm pro happy. I'm not against anything. But everything else, you get what I'm saying? Every other problem, the whole...
Well, I'll give you my take. I just wish Black Lives Matter would focus on legislation that could change stuff.
Right.
Like, so stand your ground. Let's attack a law that has some implication that could have young black men get shot because someone's going to say, oh, I feel threatened, I'm going to stand my ground and shoot you. And my frustration with Black Lives Matter is it seems like a lot of people want to protest, but there's no focus on like legislation or passing things that could actually change history.
And that's where it needs to start.
And that's my critique of the movement, is it feels like people are trying to bypass things that I feel like can actually make lasting change, and they're just trying to go to the streets. And the way that they're doing it offers a critique for people from the other side to be able to point at their negatives. Like when you protest, obviously there's going to be negatives that occur, and it's going to bring that to the forefront.
Well, the reason I'm on the fence with Black Lives Matter is because I'm black, and I know what it's like to step into an elevator or a store and have a Caucasian lady clench her purse. Like, lady, I probably make more money than you. You don't got to clench it. What am I steal your purse for? You feel what I'm saying? I know what it's like to have to go to a job interview and show up and they find out that I'm black, because I'll put other, because I am mixed. So I'll put other. I won't even put all of my races. Now I'll just put other. Then I show up and they find out I'm black, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, he didn't tell us he was African American.
They have like a little huddle.
You feel what I'm saying? And then it's like, well, you know what I'm saying? So I know that racism exists. So this is why I'm okay with it. But the reason why I'm not okay with Black Lives Matter is because it wasn't made up by black people.
No, I hear what you're saying.
It wasn't given. Black people clinged on to that. That was given to us by a person who's not of African descent or not of black descent, and it was given to us almost as a crutch to be more against us. It's almost like you need protection. Here's a gun. Yo, he got a gun. He's dangerous.
Well, I kind of get what you're saying with your critique, because that's kind of like, I'm not saying the same thing, but I kind of get your perspective with that, where it's like, it's an important movement, but it's also kind of running in a circle.
Exactly.
It's
like I said, because the person that created that movement, it was almost like a reverse psychology thing. Like I said, it's like, hey, you need protection. I think you need protection. You
need a gun.
Here's a gun. Protect yourself.
Oh, he's got a gun.
Then tell everybody else, yo, he dangerous. He got a gun. Now everybody's looking at you like, yo, nah. I'm just saying my life matters. That's all I'm saying. They're like, nah, you dangerous. So that's why I don't agree with it, because it was given to black people on a level to be able to almost use reverse psychology to be more against black people. And people don't know that. They don't know the backstory about that. So that's why I'm on the fence with it, because I think if it's used right, if it's used right, it's good. You can take a knife, the sharpest knife. If you're using that knife to cut meat,
that's not
you're good.
Well, I don't know if that's good.
Well, if you're using that knife to cut up chicken and vegetables around the house, that's good. But if you're using that knife to go kill people,
that's really bad.
So it's bad. So the knife isn't bad. The action is bad. You feel what I'm saying? So the movement of saying my life matters isn't bad. Is how you do it. Now, I don't agree with the protesting and the bashing out windows and the marching and the. I don't agree with that because number one, we need something new. That was done in the 60s. We need something new. Number two, it does nothing but raise more hell and give you more reason. It gives them more reason, a reasonable cause to say this is why. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, it
makes us look like what they call us.
Yeah, it's
so that's why I'm on the fence with it. Get a knife, but know how to use it. Don't go around stabbing people.
I just wish it was a little bit more organized. Like, it just seems.
It's just like it's a lot. Life is a lot like boxing, man. The political plays and twists you put on it can make it good or bad. It could be that one thing, but it could be good or bad.
Hey, speaking of political and boxing, man, your man Adrian Broner, AB, man.
AB, that's my boy.
He got a big fight, and I heard you're gonna be at the weigh-in. I heard you might be at the weigh-in. You're gonna be at the fight.
Yeah, I'm gonna be up there.
Man, I know we don't gotta ask you who you're going for. We already know your team AB, but why would you favor Broner in this fight?
I mean, don't get me wrong, Mikey Garcia is an animal.
Formidable opponent.
I mean, I just you know, I think Broner is naturally stronger, and Broner's what people don't realize, man, is Broner is so gifted, and they look at all of the outside things and things he's been through and things that has happened up and down his career, and they try to judge him by that. But you can't judge a man by that. Fight night, you can judge him. And Broner is probably one of the most physically gifted and probably one of the most intelligent people in the ring. Broner does things. Broner's talent level is like that of a Floyd Mayweather or of a Roy Jones or like a Zab Judah. Like, these guys are able to do things. That's a comparison
I've been hearing a lot with him is Zab, because Zab never really won the big fight, and some are saying that if he doesn't beat Mikey, that Broner, he had the DeMarco win, but it's gonna, like, they're kind of wondering where he'll go. I don't really agree with that because I think Broner accomplished a lot more than Zab.
I think he's accomplished way more, but I'm telling you what, knowing Broner personally, all of the stuff they talking,
it's eating him. He's gonna be training.
Oh no, it's not eating him. It's motivating.
But I'm saying, like, it's eating him to, like, it's fueling him to go to the gym, and he's like, ooh, I can't wait to do a 5-hour workout.
That's just like me with this Billy Joe Saunders thing. He'd have been better off being nice and not have all of these people posting, you know, British flags and calling me all out of my name. Like, that right there, that stuff right there is what's gonna make me fuck him up worse. That's gonna make me listen. Like, if he'd have been nice or they'd have been nice, maybe my mind, but you taking me somewhere you don't want to go with me. And come September 16th, they're just feeding the fire. They're just adding fuel to the fire. And I think that's what's going on with Broner right now. All of this stuff they're talking, all of this smack they're talking, they're just adding fuel to the fire. They're just adding fuel to the fire.
Do you you watched Andre Ward stop Kovalev?
Yeah.
Kovalev acted real loud and funny before that fight. Do you kind of look at parallels with that with Billy Joe? With you, like kind of boisterous, and because that stood out to me with Andre Ward was he was like talking about how if Kovalev was quiet and like calm, he would be like, wow, I got to take this guy serious. But the minute he was like talking a lot, he was like, oh, I got in his head.
This is it. What's the classic defense mechanism against fear? Noise. You come to your house, the house is dark, you don't know whether somebody's in your house or not. You start whistling, singing loud, calling for people. Hey, babe, you home? Yo, where the kids at? Hey, I'm home. You know ain't nobody in the damn house. But you, hey, I'm home. You making noise because you're like, it's like throwing crap on a wall. You're trying to figure out. You feel what I'm saying? The classic defense against fear is noise. Kovalev was so scared of Andre Ward, he didn't know what to do with himself. So he had to try, he think he was psyching Andre Ward out, and Andre Ward's just sitting there laughing like, man, he's just making his ass whooping worse. He's just making it all. I'm not about to waste my energy talking to him and going back and forth with him. That's why when Billy Joe Saunders was sitting there, yeah, mate, you did this and you did that and you quit. And I know one thing. If you're a quitter, you'll quit again. And I'm just sitting there like, yeah, okay. Anything else? Because I'm registering this. I'm computing all of this. And I'm playing it over and over and over in my head when I'm training. I'm playing it over and over and over in my head when I'm running in the morning. I'm playing it over and over and over in my head when I'm writing in my goal board and my powers of intention. I'm putting all of that into the universe, and when it comes back, Power of Intention.
Let me see that book, man.
Wayne Dyer, baby.
How does that inspire you? I know you were on a rant, but I just saw that book. I didn't know that you read in camp.
Yeah, I try to finish a book or two per camp.
Okay.
You know, I try to read a chapter or two a night. It depends on how good the book is. I'm a firm believer that, you know, the brain is a muscle. So if you want to get stronger legs, you squat. If you want to build up endurance in your arms, you punch with weights. If you want to build the endurance of your brain, you exercise it by reading. And I read stuff that's gonna intrigues me and stuff that's gonna help me. I don't just go reading random stuff. I'm very picky about, you know, what I read. But Wayne Dyer is a very, 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 very awesome speaker. He talks about the power of intention. He talks about, you know, he makes references to God, but he's not a religious person. And that's what I like. You know, everybody knows that I believe in God, but I can't lie, I've backed off of religion. Because as of lately, I've seen some things that just don't touch me right. You know, that morally incorrect, and, you know what I mean, you just know when something doesn't feel right. I don't care if it's in a religious book. If you speak it or you read it and it morally doesn't feel right, you're like, wait a minute. You know what I mean? That gut instinct. Mm-hmm. So Wayne Dyer, he makes references to, you know, Carlos Castaneda, Tao Te Ching, so many different types. He makes references to Jesus Christ in the Bible, but he's not a religious person, he's a teacher. And he basically shows you that you can create your life around you. Because a lot of us who believe in God, we depend on God to just make something happen. We think if we pray, oh God, if you help me get this, God, if you get, and you think God just says, poof, there it is. No, when you pray or you meditate or you put that energy in the universe starts to move and make ways for these things to happen. You just have to trust the process. A lot of people don't trust the process, and I was one of those people who was, I didn't like the process. Like, I'll take you back to my Golovkin loss. I'm like, man, like, you know, I pray, I go to church, I fast, you know, I give money in church, I give money to the poor, you know, I take care of people. I'm like, dang, like, why would this happen to me? And it's like, that's part of the process. You said you wanted to be something great. To be something great, downfalls have to happen. Now, everybody's different. Some people's downfalls happen outside of the ring. Some people's downfalls happen inside the ring. You feel like I'm talking in terms of a fighter with me. Yeah. Like Sugar Ray Leonard. You may look at Sugar Ray Leonard and say he's the greatest fighter in the world, but Sugar Ray Leonard, once he lost, the loss to Roberto Duran was that kick in the butt that took him higher. You feel what I'm saying?
He went to the next level.
He went to the next level. Just like Ali said, it takes a man to lose to know what it's like to really win. You know, you got to know what it's like. Like, a lot of guys don't know what it's like to lose, so they don't know what it's like to dig down and find that. Say, I can't lose again because I know how that feels.
Or like your boy Teddy says, the old school fighters, they didn't think you were a real fighter until you lost a fight.
This is true. And I come from the old school. You feel what I'm saying? Like I said, I took that fight with 19 professional fights. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have this big crazy record. I was coming off of, you know what I mean, Boxino, and then you know, I defended the NABO and the NABA on, you know, on ESPN. That was a big jump. You know, a lot of guys,
like Club Show, a little above Club Show, ESPN, back when they had Friday Night Fights, to HBO fighting the #1 guy.
Exactly, because a lot of guys, when they leave ESPN, and ESPN is a great company, I love ESPN, I love the whole crew of it, but when they leave, you know, that platform like that.
Well, that era of ESPN, now it's a little different.
Well, when they leave, but when they leave that platform and step up to like a premium cable channel, and you got these big tough fights, they don't fight the top guy out of the gate. But that's what was given to me. That's part of my process. And I didn't win, but that's part of my process to being great. And people don't understand that. You know, so many people that talk so much stuff, right? And I go back and watch. You know, I watch a lot of the newer guys, you know, because a lot of them are my friends. I have to watch, you know, I watch them because they're my friends. And a lot of them are really good, but I watch the Sugar Ray Leonards, the Tommy Hearns, the Roberto Durans, the Marvin Haglers. I go back and I watch these guys, and I hear people today saying, man, these fighters are nothing like Sugar Ray Leonard. These guys ain't, man, those guys was real. Those guys was... But when Tommy Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard and them was coming up,
they were saying the same thing about them. The
critics were saying, oh, these guys ain't nothing like Sugar Ray Robinson. These
like
guys
Jack
ain't nothing
Dempsey.
like Ali or Dempsey. Those guys were real. When they were coming up, when Dempsey and them were coming up,
they ain't like Jack Johnson.
They ain't like, you feel what I'm saying? So I'm looking at this people critiquing. I'm just like, people just aren't happy. People won't respect you until you... All of this time Floyd Mayweather was saying, I'm TBE, I'm TBE. People were talking, how could you possibly ever think you're better than this person? How could you possibly... 10 years after Floyd Mayweather retires,
he's gonna
and is inducted into the Hall of Fame, everybody's going to be saying, he's TBE, he's TBE. Well, wait a minute, why y'all didn't give him that respect when he was fighting?
Well, I think it's going to be that people don't appreciate some fighters until they're gone.
Until they're gone. People don't... It's just like in life, man. Like I saw
Pacquiao.
I saw this one... Same thing. I saw this one thing, right? There's one post on Instagram. And it said, the moment that people respect you and swear they knew you, and you're in your casket.
That's
so what's going on? That's why this doesn't bother me. That's why social media and stuff doesn't bother me. Number one, it doesn't bother me because I put in work and I was winning titles. I was beating people. I had an illustrious amateur career before hashtags, before Instagram, before likes and comments.
Right around MySpace. Like right when MySpace bulletins were big.
Right when MySpace popped off, that's when I was getting ready to go to the Olympic trials and stuff. I had a whole career, a whole long years of work.
What was a MySpace bulletin Willie Monroe made when you were a MySpace?
A MySpace bulletin?
Yeah, like what was a MySpace at the Olympic trials with like some, like what would you have done?
I did,
you had a bulletin.
I had bulletins. I posted a lot of videos of Roy Jones and Sugar Ray Leonard because those are like, I would post videos. I didn't do a lot of
inspirational, like you were like watching stuff that you thought was cool. Like probably y'all must have forgot.
I would sit and watch. Like I have Roy Jones's albums. Like I would play it in the gym. I would sit and watch Roy Jones a whole hour before I went to the gym. I would sit and watch Sugar Ray Leonard a whole hour before I went to the gym.
That song with the Youngbloods, is that the best Roy verse when he did the remix of Damn?
Oh no, with the young, are you talking about
yeah, the young,
I smoke, I drink.
Yeah,
supposed to stop, but I can't.
I think that's the best Roy. Most people say y'all must have forgot, but I think the I Smoke, I Drink remix is when he came in.
I had all 3 Roy Jones DVDs. Roy Jones' Greatest Punches, Roy Jones' Greatest Knockouts, Roy Jones' Greatest Counter Punches.
Didn't he have a Hoop DVD too, where he was like it was like an and one with Roy? Didn't he have?
He made an appearance on them, but he made an appearance on an and one DVD, but he played semi-pro basketball. It was like the Pensacola Barracudas or something like that.
And then he wanted to be like Eric Snow, which was random too, because like Eric Snow was just kind of like an average point. Like I mean, he was a little above average, but he wasn't like.
Roy was bad on the court though.
But like Eric Snow, like, do you know who Eric Snow is?
No.
And that's who Roy modeled his game after. I mean, it's just kind of like he wanted to be a point guard like Eric. Like he was a good point guard, but that's like saying, like I want to model my game after Darren Collison.
But the greats know how to pick up
they
great attributes from other people. They can see, like Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant's one of my favorite athletes. My favorite basketball player of all time. Kobe Bryant, then Michael Jordan, now LeBron James. I'm a Kobe Bryant fan.
I don't mess with Michael Jordan, man.
No. I mean, I like Mike because Mike was my era. Like I'm kind of my era. Like I was a kid. Like I own a bunch of pair of Jordans. Like I rock Jordans all the time. Like I love Jordans. I wasn't able to afford Jordans until I got older, but Jordan was always my favorite sneaker. But Kobe Bryant's my favorite basketball player.
Because of the mindset.
The mindset, man. Kobe is just a different animal, man. And I look at Kobe's career, like people look at the tail end because of how great he was. Kobe's first couple seasons were horrible. Did you ever watch The Muse?
No, I lived through when people were calling him a bust.
But yo, they were like, and then he was like missing big shots.
We missed the 3 famously.
Yeah, like missing those shots. I'm talking buzzer beaters that day, and they drafted him out of high school, and they were like, oh, he's not. Then the whole thing with his wife and like, but the way once he turned into the Black Mamba, before he turned into the Black Mamba, that was
about
like,
04. I'd say he became the guy.
But the thing I'm making is he jumped into the pros. It was a lot expected of him. And it was a lot of failure before he became great. And people don't trust that process. Just like I was talking about with Wayne Dyer. You know, if you put into the universe, I'm going to be great. You tap into source and say, I'm going to be a great fighter. Well, source will start moving things around in my life so I can get to that greatness. But that doesn't mean it's going to feel good. You feel what I'm saying? You got to trust the process. You feel what I'm saying? And you gotta trust the process. You gotta embrace the process. You gotta love the process. You feel what I'm saying? I love my fight with Golovkin. I go back and watch that fight a lot. Like, I made a mistake right there. I made a mistake right there. I should have did this. I should have did that. Oh man, back in training camp, this happened. I gotta make sure this doesn't happen. If those things wouldn't have happened, I wouldn't know how to prepare camp right now. I wouldn't know how to deal with. When I lost to Golovkin, the B-side treatment got to my mind. There was a day when I was in my hotel room when we got there on fight week. I had been there for like 2 days, and I told my publicist, Julio Jordan. He came to my room and said, well, this person wants to do an interview, that person. I said, I'm not doing it. I said, I'm not leaving my room. I said, if it's not Ellie Sekback, and this is the people who were being nice to me at this time. I said, if it isn't Ellie Sekback,
young Lukey, even though you didn't know me.
I didn't even know you did.
But like, if I was there, I would have been cool.
Yeah, because you've always shown love, man. But I said, if it's not Ellie Sekback, if it isn't the boxing voice, if it isn't Fight Hype or Boxeo Cubano, I want nothing to do with it. And my publicist went out and told him, look, if you ain't these people that he mentioned, he's not doing the interview. Because every interview was like, how do you think, like,
basically, how do you feel that you're fighting a guy that's gonna beat you up? Like, this guy's gonna beat you up. What are your thoughts?
You're about to lose. Like, what are you doing here? And it got to my mind, and I'm like, damn, man, like, I work hard just like everybody else. I got a championship opportunity. I'm doing what other fighters won't do, because before I fought Golovkin, he was a boogeyman.
And then all of a sudden,
after I fought him, and they saw chinks in his armor, then you had welterweight saying, "I'll come up and fight him."
But that, you just brought up a point I never thought about. But you basically had guys saying, like, how do you feel fighting the hardest puncher in the division? Like, and then you're like, damn, I am? Like, is that, like, when you hear that from 10, you're like, fuck, dude.
Like, they were talking to me as if I had already lost, and it got to my mind. That's why I said that moment was too big for my mind at that point.
I get what you're saying.
And like, man, like, when I got to the arena, when you get into an arena and there's 15,000 screaming fans and 14,985 are for the guy you're fighting and they want him to kill you, that's a scary situation. I'm not scared of Golovkin. I wasn't scared of Golovkin.
You were scared of the situation.
The moment scared me.
Yeah.
The moment didn't scare me, it rattled me.
You couldn't fight the way that you know you could fight.
Like, the pressure was immense. Like, you got people who work at their jobs. They've been working at their job 15 years. The corporate boss comes in 3 times a year. When the corporate boss come in, they're all nervous, spilling water, spilling coffee. They don't know how to act. And that's one corporate boss.
And you probably lived that moment 30 times, 30 days before that fight. And then when it wasn't going the exact way, I'm sure that didn't help.
I did whatever I never claimed to be Superman. I did what any human could do. What could happen to any human, which is, what somebody would say, I crumbled under the pressure. That's what people like to say. They like to use it. I'll accept that if you want to say I crumbled under the pressure. But I'm not doing what any other human has done.
I think, to be honest with you, I think the moment was just too big for you at that moment.
It was too big, and I can admit that. But I signed a contract, and I got in there and fucking fought.
And you didn't avoid him, and to be honest with you, you never really made an excuse about the fight. You've never said, oh, I had an injury, oh, that, like, you've always said, like, it just wasn't my day, basically. It just
wasn't my night. But people, this is the thing I'm saying. When you gracefully accept a loss, and like I said, I'm black. I'm supposed to be this boisterous, oh, man, F that, F this, yo, this, blah, 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 yo, man, this, blah, that, with gold chains on and acting on. In their eyes, I'm supposed to be that. But when I'm humble and I say, nah, you know what I mean, he's a good fighter. And he got the best of me. You know, I mean, I did interviews right after it. I could have said I don't want to do no. And right after the fight, they said, "Did he hurt you?" I said, "He's a good puncher. He's a hard puncher." You know what people in the comments said? "Get the fuck out of here. He's a deadly puncher." What? You've never been in the ring with anybody. How do you know the difference between a hard puncher and a deadly puncher? But people are so.
They want to live in their own world.
They want to live and they want you to be a certain way so bad that when you're not that way, they like hallucinate and make you that way so they can have a reason to say some bullshit.
What's up with your shades, man? I see you sporting those shades all the time. Why you wear shades?
I wear. This is funny, right? This is another thing that gets me. Teddy Atlas was like, I don't know why he has on shades. He's not a superstar.
Teddy Atlas.
He shouldn't have on shades after a fight. He won, but he's not a superstar yet. I said, damn, I ain't no superstar. I ain't no shades made you a superstar. In that case, there's a lot of superstars walking around here. But I wear shades, and I wear the aviator shades. You never see me wearing any other type of shades but the aviator style shades. The reason I wear the aviator style shades is because of my grandfather. My grandfather, you know, from the South, Afro-Cuban, he's crazy. And my grandfather used to fight in the South in Florida what they call smokers.
Oh, where the smoke would go to the ring.
Yeah, and you know, like he would fight in those, and these were like unsanctioned bouts. You know, it'd be a guy 170 pounds versus somebody 215. You know, people pay to get in. You make, you know, $300-400 that night. My grandfather would have 2 or 3 fights that night, knock guys out, get drunk, go to the bar, get drunk with everybody, knock everybody at the bar out. You know what I'm saying? Just crazy. But my grandfather, before he moved up north, and this is the story, he was knocking guys out in the bar. My grandfather kept a blade on him. He had a knife, and some guys tried to jump on him. He had a blade in one hand, and he was knocking guys out this way and stabbing guys this way. Messed up about a good 8 people. Somebody shot one of them old school, you remember old school whiskey bottles, them old real thick ones. Shot the bottle at my grandfather.
Okay, I mean,
grandfather ducked the bottle, bust on a brick wall, glass shattered in his eye.
Oh.
He rubbed his eye. He was rubbing his eye, trying to rub the glass out of it. Cut his eye up past repair. My grandfather had a prosthetic eye from when he was in his late 20s, so he had a patch on his eye. Once he got his prosthetic eye, my grandfather wore the aviator shades
to cover.
Well, he wore aviator glasses because he was considered legally blind in one eye. Because you know what I'm saying. So he wore the aviator glasses, and they're prescription glasses, but he always got them tinted because of his prosthetic eye. So nobody ever knew. So I wear those to pay homage to my grandfather. Because if you see me in the ring, every time I fight, when they say, Willie Monroe, I'll come to the middle of the ring. This is my little thing. Then I look up and say, I love you, abuelo. I love my grandfather. Everything that I do in boxing pertains to my grandfather because I was so close to him and my grandfather raised me. So when I put the Cuban flag on my trunks, I didn't know it was going to get me a huge Latino fan base. But I'm like, yo, my grandfather's Afro-Cuban. This is where my boxing comes from, paying homage to my grandfather. I put my grandfather's initials on my trunks. I put my grandfather's name. Everything in boxing that I do pertains to my grandfather. So when I wear the shades, that's me. I'm Willie Monroe now because I love my grandfather so much. That's not, ooh, I'm a superstar, look at me. It's, thank you, abuelo.
I love you, Grandpa.
I love you. But people don't ask these questions. They assume, who the f does he think he is wearing shades? Well, I mean, it is a lot of likes in the ring.
That's why we got the realest interviews in the game.
The realest interviews in the game. But people don't understand this, and it's dear to me. You know, it's dear to me. I don't throw on shades to look cool and oh, I want to. I got 2 pair of shades here right now. The aviators. When I do my, obviously not now, but when I've done interviews, I have my aviator shades on because this shows me Willie Monroe is here with me.
Yeah, it's like I was close to my grandpa, and I've got his ashes in my car, and it's hard for me to let go because I kind of like him just rolling with me a little bit. So I think no matter what, I'm gonna have a little bit with me.
You know, I was so hurt at, you know, when my grandfather passed away. You know what I mean? Like, I was in no man's land, and I didn't get the time to properly grieve. And this all plays into the Golovkin fight because my grandfather passed away at 80 years old, the very end of 2013. I fight Golovkin the beginning of 2015.
Okay.
So after my grandfather passed away, check this timeline. As soon as my grandfather passed away, 2 weeks later I had a fight. I won like 2 minor little titles. You know, like little belts you win on your way up. I won 2 minor little titles. Then I got into box. Well, I went to spar with Austin Trout in
New Mexico.
In New Mexico, yeah. Shout out to Austin Trout, man. I learned a lot in camp with Austin Trout. Right after the camp with Austin Trout, well, let me go back to Austin Trout. I got to give Austin Trout props because there was one morning, my grandfather passed away in September. I was out there with Austin in November. I fought in October, then I was out there with Austin in November. And I was still like in no man's land. I couldn't believe my grandfather was gone still. You know what I mean? My grandparents raised me from a month old. You know, here I am, you know, 26 years old, and my grandfather's gone. That's all I've known for 26 years. So one day I almost didn't make it to the gym, and I'm just bawling, crying. And Austin like, yo, what's up? And, you know, and I'm like, man, like, I'm just having a rough day. You know, I had a real crazy dream about my grandfather. You know, I lost my grandfather a couple months ago. And Austin's such a nice person, man. Like, one of the most humble dudes, and was one of the best camps I've been part of. Austin Trout's grandmother passed away at his wedding. So she was able to make it. So he was like, I know how you feel. I know what you're going through. So, you know, he talked me through it. We got through it. I sparred. That was like one of my best sparring days. And I come out of camp with Austin Trout. Boom. They want me to fight Caleb Truax on a 3-week notice.
From Minnesota.
From Minnesota.
In Minnesota?
In Minnesota on ESPN, January 3rd.
Coming off Donovan George, maybe?
Huh?
Coming off a Donovan George win?
Could have been. I know he was, but he ended up fighting Ozzy Durant.
Okay.
But what happened is they tried to give me the fight on a 3-week notice.
Well, per usual.
Per usual. And I had saw Caleb Truax fight before. I said, and the biggest purse I had ever made by that time was $4,000. And they said, yeah, $10,000. I said, yes. Said, but send me the contract.
You're like, let me sign?
Where do I sign? Because I had saw Caleb Truax fight. I said, I'm going to box this dude's ear off. He's too slow to catch a cold. They thought, man, like, and then somebody told my management, nah, we know he just left camp with Austin Trout, and we know he's probably in good shape.
So they want to go a different direction.
They went a different direction. So they fought Ozzy Durant. So right after that, Boxino came up. Okay, you're not fighting on ESPN, but here's Boxino. First person to sign a contract, like I told you before. I fight, I get into Boxino February. We fight the last day of February, and then we fight April 18th, and then we fight May 23rd. So through all this time, I'm having no time to grieve because I'm doggedly training and focusing on this big moment. So we get to Boxino, Boxino's over. I win Boxino, I win the belts and everything. I give, you know, I'm so hype off the moment. I'm just like, thank you, God, and my grandfather's watching over me. That happens in May. I come back home, I got to get prepared for my wedding. July, I get married. After July, we move into a bigger spot. My daughter's in school. It's just so much going on. I help my grandmother move into a bigger spot. Then I go to Russia twice to help, I forget his name, train, and we never got a chance to spar, so they sent me back. Then I fight Brian Vera, because this is the end of 2014.
Yeah, that didn't go good for Brian Vera.
And I fought Brian Vera January 2015, and then I fight Golovkin 4 months later.
It was really, was it for, you know better than me, but I feel like you fought in January, and then you fought maybe in April?
No, I fought Brian Vera January 16th, and then I fought, no, January 11th or something like January 16th. And then I fought Golovkin May 16th.
Okay, it's May 16th. Because what I remember, and my map's off, I'm sure, is it felt like you fought and then you were back in camp, like pretty much.
Well, honestly, we were planning on going back down to 154. You know,
and then you got a big fight.
You got to realize, I just fought, when I fought Gabriel Zotto, I came in at 158 pounds. Could have went back down to 54. But they offered me to fight with Golovkin. I'm like, yo,
let's do it.
I'm not signed to a big promoter. I would give anything to have a Cameron Duncan, a Al Heyman, a Jay Prince, you know, a big golden. At this point in my career, I would give anything to have those guys in my corner because they make sure, but I didn't have that. So I'm like, I can't pass up this championship opportunity. I don't care, because if I pass this up, I'll never get it again.
And finally, we're running out of tape because we've been going so long. You got to talk about snacking. You got to talk about the other people that support you.
Oh man, yeah, SNAC is an awesome program, scientific nutrition and advanced condition. Vic is so smart. Like I said before, I'm so happy to be signed to SNAC. I'm so happy to have my team together. AC, you know, Adrian Clark is me and him. You know, we've done a great job along with my brother and TJ. You know, they're my management team, and my brother constructed my contract that I re-signed with Banner. You know, like this, and this is my brother. You know what I mean? This isn't, you know, some top lawyer or anything. My brother constructed a very good contract. Gotta thank Banner for getting me this opportunity. I gotta thank AC and my boy Ernie over at Everlast. You know, this is what I was talking about when I say the universe moves and make things, because Ernie was at the fight when I fought Golovkin. And he said, the way you fought Golovkin is what made me want to sign you to Everlast. I said, whoa, wait a minute, I lost to Golovkin. He said, yeah, but we've never seen anybody stand in a pocket and fight Golovkin like that. He said, like, when I saw you fight that night, I said, I need this kid with Everlast. So in losing effort, it actually brought better things for me. So I got to thank Everlast, man. We just did a big photo shoot, big commercial shoot with Everlast.
I saw it on IG.
Yeah,
I hit the like button.
They're getting ready to drop the, thank you. They're getting ready to launch a brand new shoe. Is so nice. Me and my trainer TJ are the only ones in the world right now with those shoes until August. So we're the only one on the planet with those shoes right now. I'm gonna debut those shoes when I go beat up on Billy Joe Saunders. So I mean, it's just a lot of great things. I'm blessed. You know, I just speak great things into existence. I believe in myself. I believe in God. I got to thank my family. You know, my wife, who's 7 months pregnant right now. You know, she's due September 12th. The fight is September 16th. So I'm hoping...
Cutting it close?
Yeah, I'm hoping little Riley, I have a daughter on the way. I'm hoping little Riley shows up sometime in August, you know, so I can definitely see my beautiful newborn before I leave. But if not, I have the baby luck. You know, a lot of people don't know about the baby luck, but the baby luck is there. So I'm just blessed. I'm happy, you know what I mean? And no matter what anyone does, you know, they can't take my happiness away from me, you know. There's no amount of money, you know, and this is so serious that could buy happiness. You know, to come from that kid that nobody ever believed in and always said that you can't do it, you're not big enough, you're not strong enough, you don't punch hard enough, to be at the top of the middleweight division right now, and to be getting another shot, and to be signed to SNAC and Everlast. These are top companies, you know what I mean? Like, Vic Conti didn't have to give me this opportunity. You know, Vic Conti reached out to Tony Morgan and said, the kid's a tremendous athlete. He works very hard. I love his personality. He's humble. He's charismatic. He looked like he's easy to work with. And I like, you don't get that every day. You know, it's guys out here that are like begging to be with an Everlast or a SNAC. And these things fell into my lap under who I am. So I'm just happy. You know, I don't care what anyone says or talks about me, because at the end of the day, man, like, I got a wife and 3 beautiful kids that love me to life. And that's all I need. I swear on everything I love, that's all I need. My kids come home and I don't care if I lose 10 more fights, my son's still gonna say, Daddy, you the best boxer. And that warms my heart. My daughter's still gonna think I'm Superman. My wife thinks I'm Superman. So I don't care what these critics say. That's what their job is to do. Criticize. No, knock yourself out. I bet their fingers have abs on them from how much they type.
That's a good one.
You know what I'm saying? I bet their fingers have all kind. They could probably stand a couple sessions with Vic Conti for their fingers, because their fingers probably have abs and pectoral muscles right on their thumbs, because they're just sitting there aggressively. I don't care about that. A lot of it I don't even see. I take Instagram and stuff. I'll take Instagram and Twitter off my phone. I'll download it and tweet something, won't even look, and take it right off my phone.
That's a trick I do too.
And I'll never see the bull crap that people say, and they think they're getting to me. And people come to me like, man, did you see what they said about you on Twitter? I'm like, nah, I ain't even see it.
I hit the mute button too. That's my other trick, so I never have to see them, but they think they're talking.
I do the same thing, and I'm not the only one that runs my Instagram. You feel what I'm saying? So my publicist may go in there and see something crazy and be like, block this person, block that person. He'll just go in there and, oh, we're gonna block this, block that, block, because look, we don't. Negative energy is negative energy. So people that think they're getting to me, they're sitting there. Ooh, look what I just said.
Tough luck.
I never saw it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see it. You know, so I'm just blessed, man. You know, God is so good. You know, Source is amazing. You know, I've been through so much. You know, there's some people who couldn't deal with my life, much less my boxing, just my life that I've been. If people had to walk in my shoes and think with my thoughts, feel with my hands, walk with my feet, you know, they wouldn't last 2 days